Welcome to the deep dive. We're jumping pretty much headfirst into a stack of source material today. It's all focused on one specific date, June 8th, 2025.
Right. And that date is key because it's UEFA Nations League Finals Day. We've basically pulled together previews looking ahead at the two massive games happening in Germany.
Exactly. First, the third place playoff, that's the host Germany against France. And then the main event, the final, Portugal taking on Spain.
Yeah, two huge matches. So our mission here is, well, to dig into these previews, pull out the key insights, the interesting stats, who to watch, and the narratives.
I want you to walk away with a really clear picture of what's actually at stake and, what kind of football, what kind of drama we might expect.
You've got two giants looking to salvage some pride, right? And then two Iberian powerhouses battling for the trophy. So what do these previews tell us about their form, their history, where these games could swing?
Okay, let's get into it. Let's start with that third place playoff. Stuttgart, Germany versus France.
And the previews, they don't mince words. They're calling it a reputational repair job for both. Not just a kickabout, there's definitely pride involved here.
Absolutely. For Germany, the sources really zero in on that frustrating semifinal loss, 2-1 to Portugal, right there in Stuttgart. What seemed to hurt was giving up the lead.
Yeah, the previews mention this tendency to lapse in concentration in big moments. That's something they'll desperately want to fix, you'd think.
Definitely. So now they're playing for, consolation prize, but at home. And the sources note it's made trickier by some injuries, plus the fact Nagelsmann's been quite open about using this tournament for experimentation.
Which does raise questions about maybe team cohesion, doesn't it? How settled will they be?
It does. But it's not all doom and gloom for Germany in the previews. They remind us they've actually done okay against France recently. Scored in all four halves of the last two friendlies.
Oh, interesting. And wasn't one of those an early success for Nagelsmann?
Yeah, exactly. And another nugget from the sources. Nagelsmann himself apparently has yet to suffer back-to-back defeats as Germany manager.
Okay. So maybe a bit of managerial pride on the line there, too? Could be a motivator after losing the semi?
Could be. Now, switching to France. They arrive after that completely wild 5-4 semifinal against Spain.
Wild is the word.
Yeah.
But the sources suggest the final score maybe flattered their comeback efforts more than their defensive discipline, letting in 5.
That's not very Deschamps, is it?
Not at all. And that loss was actually their second in 3 games. The previews call that a rare wobble under Didier Deschamps. Apparently haven't had a run like that since, 2015?
Yeah, very rare. It stands out. But one thing the sources do emphasize is France's knack for bouncing back. Strong.
Right. Since the start of 2024, pretty much every loss, bar one, has been followed by a solid win, usually scoring at least twice.
So that suggests a certain resilience, a character within the squad even after a setback. Definitely. So putting that all together, Germany needing a response, France's bounce-back record, the managers may be rotating a bit. What do the sources think this game will actually look like?
Well, given the attacking quality on both sides and maybe slightly less pressure than a final, they expect a more open and less risk-averse game. Probably more so than the semis.
Sounds like fun, potentially.
Yeah.
High tempo, end-to-end.
That's the prediction. High tempo, end-to-end encounter. And yeah, they specifically say expect goals, chances, and a few defensive mishaps. Maybe a chance for some younger players, too.
And interestingly, the history of these third-place games kind of backs that up, doesn't it? More goals over time.
Yeah, exactly. 0-0 in 2019, then 2-1, then 3-2 last time. It seems to be trending towards more open games.
And when you look at the players highlighted, for Germany, it's Florian Wirtz. The Bayer Leverkusen prodigy scored again in the semi.
And that makes it 4 goals in 4 home Nations League games for him. Impressive record. The sources call his movement and intelligence Germany's best creative outlet. He's clearly key for them.
And for France, Rayan Cherki, the Lyon youngster, made a splash in his debut in the semi, didn't he? Goal and assist.
Yeah, instant impact. And apparently he's got 7 goal involvements in his last 10 games for club and country. Adds that bit of flair, unpredictability, perfect for a more open game, perhaps.
So, looking at those patterns again, Germany scoring consistently against France recently, France responding strongly after defeats, Nagelsmann avoiding consecutive losses.
It paints an interesting picture, and based on all that, the previews lean towards, a few likely outcomes. Over 2.5 goals seems probable.
Right, because of that playoff trend, the France 5-4 game.
Yeah.
Germany may be playing with less pressure. Makes sense.
And both teams to score, too. Defensive injuries, possible rotation, plus you've got Wirtz and Cherki in form. Seems logical.
They also flag a goal before halftime. Germany's recent habit of scoring early, that frantic first half in the Spain-France game, and maybe less caution overall.
Yeah, neither side is likely to sit back, as one source puts it.
So why should you, listening at home, care about this deep dive into a third-place game? Well, I think it's a great chance to see how these top teams react to disappointment.
Absolutely. And you get to see maybe some tactical shifts, managers trying things out, plus potential stars like Wirtz and Cherki getting a big stage. It tells you a lot, even if it's not the final.
Totally agree. Which brings us neatly to the main event.
Ah, yes, the final. Allianz Arena, Munich, Portugal versus Spain. The sources are calling it a historic all-Iberian showdown.
Historic because it's the very first time these fierce neighbors have faced off in a major competition final.
Huge.
Massive. Both have won this trophy before, too. So this is about being crowned kings of the peninsula and maybe, as the preview suggests, the dominant force in European international football right now. Big claims.
Portugal got here with that really impressive comeback against Germany, the hosts. Turned it around for a 2-1 win.
And that was their first win against Germany in, nearly a quarter century.
Yeah.
Breaking a run like that away from home?
Yeah.
That's a huge confidence boost.
Yes.
Definitely. Plus, the added spice of Roberto Martinez, Portuguese manager, facing his home country, Spain.
Always adds a little something, doesn't it? But historically, the sources point out, Portugal have, struggled against Spain, winless in the last 6 meetings.
Yeah, and only 1 goal scored across the last 4 games against them. That's quite a statistic hanging over them.
It is. But, crucially, the previews stress that this version of Portugal is different. Anything but timid in front of goal, is the quote. They've been scoring consistently.
Right, scored at least twice in 6 of their 9 Nations League games this campaign. So current form kind of contradicts that history, doesn't it?
It does. And here's maybe the most intriguing insight on Portugal from the sources. They continue to grow stronger as games progress.
That late game power. 6 goals after the 60th minute in just their last 2 matches. That's incredible.
Yeah, their endurance and composure late in games is highlighted as potentially the key to unlocking Spain's defense, which is usually pretty solid. Something definitely to watch for.
Okay, so Spain. The previews describe them as having really hit their stride under Luis de la Fuente.
Yeah, started the campaign a bit slow, didn't they? Goalless draw somewhere, but then boom, 7 wins, 23 goals in the next 8 games. Just tore through teams.
And that semifinal against France.
Yeah.
A fireworks display. 5-1 up, then nearly throwing it away in that crazy 5-4 finish.
Exactly. The sources say while that late collapse might worry some, it absolutely underscored their attacking firepower. Showed they can score almost at will, but maybe also hinted at a vulnerability.
Maybe. But the ambition for Spain is huge here. They want to be the first side to retain the Nations League crown.
And the previews even look further ahead. If they win this, then the World Cup in 2026. They could hold the Euros, Nations League, and World Cup titles simultaneously.
Wow. An unprecedented trifecta in the modern era. That adds some serious narrative weight to this final, doesn't it?
Absolutely does. So Portugal's late threat, Spain's attacking blitz, the history, the stakes. What do the sources reckon the final itself will feel like?
They expect it to live up to the Iberian passion. Technically good, definitely emotionally charged, and probably offensively open.
Sounds like it has all the ingredients of a Nations League classic. High-quality attacks, potential for late drama. Should be good.
And the players to watch. For Portugal, the sources spotlight Nuno Mendes, the marauding PSG left back.
Ah, yeah. He's been vital for their attack. Got an assist in all 6 of their Nations League wins, apparently.
Get this detail, though. His last 5 assists have all come in the second half. Directly ties into that late-game strength Portugal has shown.
That's fascinating. Really specific. And for Spain, it has to be Lamine Yamal, right? The teenage sensation.
Yep. Scored twice against France. And the sources highlight he's still unbeaten in his 16 starts for Spain. 13 wins, 3 draws.
Incredible record. His creativity, pace, and calm give Spain that X factor, the ability to unlock games. He's genuinely decisive.
Looking at the broader stats, Spain unbeaten in 10, won 8. And, importantly, they haven't conceded the first goal in any of those 10 games. They start fast.
Which contrasts perfectly with Portugal's 6 goals after the 60th minute in their last 2 games. It's like fast start versus strong finish.
Spain's attack, too. 23 goals in their last 8 matches, excluding penalties. That's nearly 3 goals a game average.
So, when the sources talk about expectations for the final, over 2.5 goals feels almost inevitable, doesn't it? Given Spain's 5-4 semi, Portugal's scoring record, all the threats.
Yeah, seems highly likely. And they have both teams to score as well. Portugal's late power, Spain's fast starts, maybe Spain's defense looking a bit shaky late on against France.
Plus, Portugal have scored in, 10 of their last 11? And the preview suggests neither team really plays for a 1-0 in a final like this.
And connecting to Spain starting fast, a goal before halftime is also strongly predicted. Spain's habit of flying out the blocks.
Yeah, putting 4 past France by the 55th minute shows what they can do early with Yamal, Mendes, all that quality out wide. An early goal wouldn't be a surprise at all.
So for you, the listener, this final isn't just a game. It's this amazing clash of styles, really. Spain trying to hit hard and fast, Portugal looking to endure and finish strong.
And understanding those specific patterns and how players like Mendes in the second half or Yamal early on fit into that, it just gives you a much richer way to watch the tactical battle unfold. You can see the potential turning points.
Right. So wrapping up this deep dive, we've looked at these 2 games on June 8th, both with really different but compelling stories. Germany and France, that reputational repair job, trying to build momentum.
While Portugal and Spain are going head-to-head for that Iberian bragging rights, yes, but also maybe for the title of Europe's dominant team for the next few years.
And the sources strongly suggest we should expect open games, likely high scoring, driven by all that attacking talent, but also by those contrasting team strengths we've talked so much about.
Yeah, Portugal's late goals, Spain's quick starts, France's bounce-back ability, Germany's potential resilience. These specific things the preview's highlighted.
It really shows how digging into the details, the player stats, the head-to-head context, the manager's habits add so much more depth than just looking at the names on the team sheet.
Absolutely. So, final thought for you to ponder. Thinking about the specific strengths we've pulled out, Portugal finishing strong, Spain starting fast, Wirtz scoring at home, Mendes assisting late. Which one of those specific trends or player attributes do you think is most likely to be the decisive factor on June 8th? Which single nugget from this deep dive really sticks with you as being potentially key to deciding who wins?